to Upstage Downstage, with him, Richard Platt, seated in the upper circle.
And him, Stephen Rees, typically seated in the cheap seat.
This is the Theatre Podcast, where we discuss productions we've seen,
Things we've liked,
and may not have liked,
giving our complete unprofessional
and non-biased opinions.
So grab a brew,
Take a seat,
and let's raise that curtain. On today's episode, we'll be discussing Outlawed. We saw this production at Nonsuch Studios Nottingham on the 15th of December 2023. Written and directed by Edward Boot, Nonsuch Studios brings together the best of burlesque, drag and comedy for a festive celebration like no other. So Stephen, what's it all about?
This Christmas we discover the naughtiest speakeasy in all of Sherwood Forest, where Maestro Robin and their dangerously talented gang of merry fools are set to throw a party so big even the sheriff wants in. With Marian and Friar tucked by his side and the centrally terrifying sheriff out to cause trouble, Robin and the gang invite you to the Major Oak, a super secret hideaway with a super secret cabaret inside. Stealing from the rich to give to the poor has never been so much fun.
But first, our post-show opinion!
Robin gets his arrow right on target for this one.
As the sheriff would say, I like the stage. This is a treat.
So with all that said, let's
Set the scene!
So Richard, we need to set the scene on this, but before we go any further, let me just say to the listening viewers, I have a cold and it's absolutely chucking it down here. So if you can hear the rain, it's because
Tell her to shut up.
It's because it's absolutely chucking down out here. Sorry,
Yeah,
was that supposed to be a joke?
Yeah, and Lorraine's in the corner.
See, you jumped in my punchline and then I talk over your joke.
Well,
We need to be scripted. This is just ridiculous.
it's just not going to work, is it?
No, I mean, you probably wouldn't get this at Nonsuch Studios.
Well, I can't stand Lorraine.
Oh, God. She against your windows.
Yeah, she is.
Right, okay, so, instead of doing your Tina Turner impressions, Tina Turner out. Oh, that Cher! Oh, God, we're off again. Have you drank your cup of tea? Honestly, you come round here.
I'm waiting for you to talk so I can drink it.
Right, okay. Would you like to set the scene then, Richard? Gobble up quick, like you've never gobbled before. We've got a show to talk about.
Well, we were a little apprehensive when we walked into Nonsuch Studios
Oh, we were.
because it was quite a cold night and it was quite dark and
And you know those kind of shows where you just go on a whim just to see what it's going to be like?
Yep.
And then nobody else is particularly there.
Yeah.
You go into the theatre a bit with the drinks machine.
It's a little unnerving, as in,
just a
I
couple of
wouldn't
people
say
there.
that's any detriment to the company or the
Well,
people.
we haven't even
that-
got that far yet.
No,
at this
it's
stage.
just-
more, oh God, what have we let ourselves in
We
for?
did, yeah. It was a little bit on edge, wondering what we'd actually walking into.
Well, I was all right until they said that there might be some audience participation.
And nudity. And you
And
thought,
nudity, I thought, well, I don't mind the nudity as long as it's not mine. But audience participation, oh my goodness. I was on edge.
Yeah, a little bit on
My
edge.
anxiety went straight through the roof.
Yeah, and then when Stephen was offered to sit on the front row, he politely declined.
No, thank you very much.
Because we all know what happens in a panto on the front row.
Well, absolutely, but as we describe in the set, it was what kind of a stage was it? A thrust?
But it was a thrust stage.
Thrust. And I specifically chosen the seats which were at the back, furthest away,
Yeah,
slightly hidden.
yeah.
Because that's the kind of person
Closest
I
to the
am.
door, just in case.
Exactly, in case I needed to make a swift exit, but not to be chosen or seen.
Yeah, just to be in the production rather than
Yeah,
actually,
and so anyway, the rest of the audience members came in, took to their seats, which there wasn't many. I think I counted about 58, 60 seats.
Yeah.
There was probably about 14 people in.
Yeah.
So it was very empty, which meant it was more we would be more visible.
Yeah.
And the seat that I chose, which was going to be sort of like in and hidden, I was practically on the end.
On the end.
I was
Right
on
in
the
the-
end
right
of the
in
other
view.
side because no one sat next to me and no
Right.
one sat on our side of the seats. We were next to the not
Next
the
to the
DJ, the
entrance,
stage
yeah,
manager.
where the sound and lighting was being
yeah,
done.
the desk there. So therefore, whenever they did look across to them, or the light showed,
Because this was very much
well.
a studio theatre production, so the
very
it's
intimate.
very intimate. It was, when we say it was a thrust stage, it was a thrust stage with 2 rows of seats around it, so it wasn't actually a big auditorium with loads of seats. It was just a small
and 4
intimate.
tables
Yes.
Around the
Yes.
actual walkway stage.
The stage was simple. It was some lame and sequins at
What
the
was
back.
it?
Lame and sequins. Lame, silver material.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah. Or you could say lame. But it's not lame.
I just thought you called it like silver genitalia. I mean, silver, what do you call it?
Silver genitalia.
The stuff that you put on the branches
No,
of
that
Christmas
was the
trees.
balls at the back.
Balls at the back of what?
Around the stage.
Oh, it was around the stage, was it? Okay.
No, all the balls around above the audience.
Look, enough about your balls. Let's just
Because
carry
you
on.
commented on the balls above the
No,
audience.
I was talking about genitalia, and I didn't mean that. I meant the dangly stuff you put on branches on Christmas trees.
Oh, is that what we call it?
The
Mistletoe.
silver stuff. Not mistletoe. No, the Look, anyway, I digest. Let's carry on. I'm ill. I've got a cold.
I thought you were 111. Anyway, that's for another
feel
production. Anyway, so basically it was just a black stage with what you could describe as, it was just disco lights above the glittery backdrop. So you didn't really know what was going to happen. There was not really any giveaway of anything.
Well, it was a typical cabaret
And,
staging.
and what I would say is above the audience, what you'd got is, the reason I've mentioned balls, you've got Chinese lanterns all the way around with coloured LED lights in above all the way around the audience,
and lampshades,
lampshades and things that were coloured with things in them, and then some drops of like camo material, which was like just hanging around the outside, just to maybe look like we're in a forest.
Camouflage.
Yeah,
cameo
material or camo material.
Look, if I can barely understand you, God help the listeners here, because I know we've got about 500 followers now.
God help the
250 are my mother.
That's a Disney reference.
Ooh.
God help the outcasts.
Right, come on, get on with it.
Or the outlawed.
You'll be outlawed in a minute. Right in the rain.
I'm not going to lord it anywhere.
Oh, dear. Now, let's stop flim-flamming about. Right, so, we've set the scene.
Yeah.
Well, we have, haven't we?
Yeah, I do think it was a little... that one of my only comments is before you walk into a room and they warn you of nudity...
Oh, the trigger warnings.
The trigger warnings and all that. It was a little bit like, do we really want to be going in this room? It did put me off a little, because I don't normally get that in a lot of productions I see in Edinburgh and all over. You don't always need to warn an audience.
See, I think I need a trigger warning if there's a trigger warning.
Yeah, because it can put you off what you're about to see, rather than just immersing yourself in it. And that just one of my points from an audience perspective. When you're walking in, it can set the tone before you're actually letting your mind experience it in a way.
I think also if you label something as adult entertainment, I think people know what you mean and what is to be expected here.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you say mention burlesque and cabaret, you have a level of understanding that is what you're going to say. And I was going to say about the audience numbers, I do think it fell foul on the Friday night because it was in the height of Christmas shopping time.
Yes.
Everybody would have been have more important things, spending money, God forbid, on loads of things that they didn't need.
I mean, how dare they?
Exactly. I mean, but I think that wouldn't have helped on the Friday night when everybody was finishing work after payday, and it was like,
it sort of came at the wrong time.
Yeah, which is it's not their fault. It's just it's just that wouldn't have helped the audience members on that night.
No, it is what it is.
It is.
Now, can you remember what happened? Okay. So we had Robin Hood come out, and we also had Maid Marian.
Yeah,
and we had what felt like about 10 minutes. Probably about 5 minutes, but it felt to go on and on about warnings about you can't touch the actors if you get up on stage. You got to have permission. So there was a lot of things like that. And did she say about where the fire exits were as well?
Yeah, it was a bit of a housekeeping
things.
Well written sort of intro, really, I suppose.
In character.
In character.
With a bit of humour as well, but it did seem to drag out. Get the pun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did sort of go out. And I think with me already feeling a bit like full of anxiety, thinking, oh, what the hell have we let ourselves in for? That coming straight afterwards was more like, oh, when's the interval? Is there an interval?
Although, from my perspective, if that room was full, that type of speech would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because if it was a say, under the influence crowd, you maybe needed to have used that quite usefully as part of your intro. Because if it was a really full room, you would have needed to use that as a chance to tell people, maybe. Because burlesque and cabaret can get quite, people do cross the lines because they think they can. And that's where it came from. But when it was a calmer audience, shall we say, it's hard when it's written into the script.
It was a bit sedated, but then I think after the 10 minutes, you started going along with the characters, along with the storylines, and feeling like you were part of it.
Yeah, totally.
But at the very start, it was very much. It did feel a bit like a talk.
It was overwhelming your senses. I could tell.
I was stressing out. Especially when I found out that there was like no one around me to camouflage me.
He was looking for a magic wand.
Oh God, no! No, I didn't like it. However, it started to pick up.
Yeah. Very quickly and very instantly, really.
Okay, so we had Lottie Manning as the hunter-gatherer / Robin Hood, and she or he as Robin Hood got it together. Was very, what do you say, led you through everything, so you felt safe. Blow that nose, Richard. Blow that nose.
Blow that trumpet.
You felt very safe in the hands of
Robin.
Robin, yeah.
You did, yeah.
Taking you along the storyline. And then you had Solaya Sang. Is that right? Solaya Sang?
Yeah.
You had Solaya Sang as Maid Marian, who, within the first couple of seconds of this intro, made a jibe at me, or made a look at me. Maid Marian. Oh, God. No. Well, this is going to slow us down. But
She picked you out the audience.
She picked
instantly.
me out the audience straight away, probably because I was looking a bit butch and a bit different to everybody else there.
I mean, it was that red flashing light on your forehead, wasn't it? That just drew it to you.
She probably saw the panic in my eyes.
Yeah, and pick on him.
Me. Yes. She made a joke, and she said, we might be getting some of you up on stage.
And I was like, straight at you.
Yeah, and I said, no. And I think that was probably the worst thing I could have done, because I think everyone then started looking at me a bit more directly then. And then she did make another joke, but because it was audience interaction,
yeah, when
she did make a joke about Lecoq or whatever, she said, "Oh, do you know that one?" I said, "Well, yeah." Yeah, it's a stage joke. You're not supposed to agree with it or whatever. And she rolled her eyes, and I thought, "Oh, I don't know. I'm confused now. Do I join in or do I not? Do you want me up on stage or not? I'd rather not."
Yeah. But I'm not ready.
No, I'm not ready. No, I mean, I'm yet to go in the green room. What costume?
Not powdered your nose yet, had you?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Moving on to our next segment, as we say, we're
here for the drama.
So, with this being a drag comedy, cabaret, burlesque, dancing, sort of a sketch show through the whole delivery of the Robin Hood situation.
Yeah,
we began with a bit of I think singing and dancing, and was then introduced to Friar Tucked.
Yes, we were. Which is Miss Lucinda behind.
Exactly. Now, her entrance was quite funny because she had these huge heels on.
Yeah.
God knows how many inches they were.
Dressed as a friar.
But you didn't see the face at all. But since she stood on stage, she scuttled across straight to the front, which brought the house down. I mean, there was only 14 of us, but still, there was a lot of laughter there.
Yeah, there was.
And I think with each character that got introduced, they had their little sketch or dance routine, or lip sync.
It was like your sort of cabaret review show intertwined into a story to introduce everybody bit by bit, and it was cleverly done where the previous person took pieces of set off or pushed things on, made fun of it when they were doing it, so that it all... No, not one person just left the next performer to just get on with it. They always helped the next person on and off, and that's what made it quite seamless, really, when it came to a lot of the things.
And I noticed it was always quite funny when when Miss Lucinda behind came on, because she was always in the heels, no matter what character she was playing.
Definitely.
And there was always a bit of awkwardness in either trying to get a trolley or some kind of equipment onto the stage or off the stage herself, on and off.
Yeah.
Or even I can't think of where I was going with that now.
I think for me, rather than just making that that it was hard work or it needed another pair of hands, she turned it into comedy just by actually doing it or struggling herself to do it.
Oh yes,
it
became
of
improv.
It became funny and part of the production, rather than just oh my god, we're waiting in the blackout for somebody to push some bits of furniture on. It was done to send it up even more, you know.
Yeah, and then I think this kind of helps with how they brought the characters on, because I think I'm right in thinking that the Sheriff of Nottingham came in fourth, and the Sheriff of Nottingham was played by Paige Baker-Carroll. Looking at the behind the scenes pictures, she was just extremely pretty in a like tracksuit. You didn't know, you couldn't see a character there, but then when she graced the stage as this drag queen-esque, everything was sort of enhanced. The bosoms were out, the face was painted white with black markings on, and the wig, and the voice was definitely put on. It just became an instant hit, a
Totally.
brilliant character that was brought to life, and she just made you want more all the time, every time she graced that stage, and she was extremely funny. And what was she wearing? She was wearing like huge boots that were equally as got some kind of heel on.
Yeah.
Not heel, like a platform sort of thing, but it was like a goth boot.
They were like goth
something.
boots, they were.
They were massive things. Yeah.
I suppose also to say that none of the four performers on stage were ever fazed by the fact that they had a small audience. So once we got going and we were off and the production was running, you just forgot about that part of it, and you felt like you were just part of a big, huge laugh of a production.
Well, I don't know about you, but I felt like more inclined to stay. That sounds terrible, but like you were there egging them on. You wanted them to do well because it wasn't packed out.
Yeah, and also there was no inkling from me that I sometimes I get a feeling that I don't know if I'm going to stay for the second half, if it's going to make me feel awkward.
Yeah.
And this didn't. I wanted to be back. I just wanted a break to go straight back in and carry on, because they hit it hard and fast in the first half that then you just wanted to stay in the room.
Absolutely. It's extremely funny, and they got audience participation by having some chap called Robert, probably.
Yeah, and there was another Robert. There was two Roberts.
Two Roberts, yeah. This one guy.
But I think
they turned up late as well,
so
they end up on the stage and to do this whole shooting the arrow into the apple.
Yeah, I mean, one of my other, my other funny, the other funny moments was, they used the two Roberts to walk on stage to say they loved each other. And then really all that was to get the table off the stage.
Yeah,
so they just used it.
Moving furniture.
It was just one way to move furniture, but we'll just make something out of it. And I think that's the key.
The second act.
It was in the second act.
Yeah,
and I think that just shows how you can use audience participation just to do something. Actually, you need two blokes to get something off stage. Really,
exactly. Bring the furniture on and off.
Yeah,
no, that was really well done. But I think going back to the whole intimate audience situation, after probably about 15 minutes, once the sort of like anxiety had gone, and I was actually enjoying it and laughing, and I wasn't fearing, oh my god, am I going to be picked next or whatever? I started to really like enjoying it, and I didn't want to leave, and I knew that I'm going to have to stay and see what happens.
Just admit it, you wanted to be on stage with them. Come on.
Well, no, because I would have probably brought it down and made it worse, but but no, I was just really enjoying.
Oh, no, you wouldn't.
Oh, yes, I would. I was just really enjoying just watching their performances more than anything,
and the pace and the speed and class act of them performing. there was no real pause in any of the production, and I think that I've seen some of the biggest productions and them not have that pace. So to just know exactly what each one's doing and to be on the ball, even including the sound guy that was involved in certain scenes, you know, everybody was just part of were where they needed to be when they needed to be, and it sounds so simple, but I've seen so many people get it wrong that it's just refreshing to see a small cast really beyond the production, you know, know what they're doing.
I mean, we've worked in like amateur dramatic productions ourselves, putting shows on, and there's always that risk of is it actually going to be funny? Is it going to work? Is it going to be right? And not knowing if this was a professional show or semi-professional, we didn't know anything about these people. We didn't know what to expect. I mean, is it going to be sort of like tumbleweed, or the joke's not going to land? Is it going to be sort of like half-baked? But thankfully, it wasn't at all, and it was a great surprise that we was actually in good company here. And
also, I think, you know, I always have a big thing on the aesthetics of a production, and when you look at the poster and that's actually put out there, this production lives up to its poster because it's a little bit out there, it's a little bit off the wall, it's a little bit. It could look like a mishmash, but when you actually look at the poster and feel that it's actually, it sort of ticks all the boxes in a way of.
It's very much a fringe thing, isn't it? By the looks of it,
but it also feels very. You don't actually know what's going to happen until you sit in the room, and I think sometimes that's good because, like we said, we took a punt on this. We didn't know. I saw it advertised and I thought, well, it might be worth going to see. Let's just go and watch, and and so glad we did.
Yeah, and the first half just seemed to have just been so funny. I was literally crying with laughter. You know, it was, and I was even getting quite anxious of the fact, well, not anxious, probably more self-aware of the fact that my laugh was just getting deeper and louder.
Yeah.
And I felt like, am I the only one like really laughing really hard here? And I'm not. It wasn't like I was forcing a laugh.
No,
it was just I could hear my own laugh rising above everybody else's, and I thought, I'm going to bring attention to myself even more now.
You see, I'm fortunate to be one that laughs with that doesn't make much noise. I just end up falling. My shoulders go, and that's about it. I'm probably losing air and running out. I've not been able to breathe, but you know.
Yeah.
But I don't make much noise.
Oh, and another thing, what got me is the fact that Friar kept looking at me. I kept getting the eyeballs.
Miss Lucinda behind kept singling you out, and you
I
just
know.
Kept,
talk about
it must have been there was just a spotlight that she was looking into. It's not your eyes.
I don't know about that. No, but I mean, talk about needing consent to touch the actors. You know, I mean, I think it needed to be the other way around. Oh, she went straight into my eyeballs and set up shop.
She did.
She went straight in there, didn't she?
You were in there.
She was in there. She was straight in there. Yeah, she went straight through. So yeah, that was a bit. I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but you know when.
Yeah, but that could have been played so to the point where it had been unnerving and awkward, and you didn't feel that. It was just.
No, I didn't feel awkward, but then I kind of then felt. Oh, this seems a bit more than it's just targeting me.
I was wondering if I needed to get a hat.
Oh my God. Yeah. Pretty much left there thinking, have I just been married? Yeah. No, but when I think it was in Act 2 when she started doing like a strip dancing on a chair.
Yeah.
I think that's when I started getting a bit stressed out because that's when was it she wanted someone from the audience? No, I think that was another time. But no, she was pretty much dancing on this chair, and I'm thinking, no, you're not going to get me up on there. No, we don't do that here. No, oh God, but thankfully she didn't. No, everyone started coming on then, the other actors and stuff, so I was madly relieved. Yeah, because they do, don't they?
Yeah,
they get people up on there, they do. Yeah, they get people to strip off and stuff. No, it's too cold. But anyway, what other... there was a great sketch that they did, and they started singing I Know Him So Well.
Yeah, that was it's
and
brilliant.
they kept giving like each other feed lines because it was Lucinda, it was Friar Tuck and the sheriff from Nottingham.
Yeah,
and they were working really well together actually.
Yeah, and they were just
feeding
sending
off
it
each other, weren't they?
Yeah, and they just Lucinda was playing it really deadpan, so Friar Tuck was just almost nonchalantly like you putting the lines in the place, but they were like really like just dry and and it just made it funnier. And I think as well there was also moments where Lucinda would pop up or the sheriff would pop up from different parts of the room. Like they'd hidden some little platforms where they just popped up behind the audience or at the side of the audience. Just for comedic effect, and it worked,
And in Act 2, the sheriff turned into Elvis.
Yeah.
Didn't she? Yeah. She had a bit of that going on. And then that was quite good, was when Paige Marie I'm just going to say Paige Marie. When she, as the sheriff, as Elvis, was walking around with like some bread, she was giving it to the audience, say, "Go on, this is rubbish, isn't it? Throw it at the audience. Throw it at what the Robert and Maid Marian, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Robin.
Yeah.
Did I say Robert?
Yeah, because
I
got
don't
Roberts
know.
on the mind.
There probably was.
There's
Robert.
that many Roberts in the
Roberts
room.
on there. There probably was on stage as well. Yeah, so that was quite funny.
Yeah.
And then she came over near our section and a wig fell off.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I mean, there was a for me they ticked all the cabaret and comedy boxes and all the things you expect from a cabaret show, even to the point of doing like Mary Poppins' ever expanding bag where they brought out, it was like doing a magic trick. For me, I love it when people do crap magic, as in, these big grand like Debbie McGee moments, and it's not actually anywhere near that. But it was.
Do you fancy yourself as Debbie McGee?
I think so. I think I could just see it myself. I just think that that moment of just putting your hand in a bag and it being lots more, and actually it's all concealed underneath, and bringing out random objects just to make fun of a moment. I think it's those little nods to those big grand David Copperfield performances that you sort of see, and then you're doing it on a small stage, and it actually makes it funnier, and it just adds to it. Also, for me, ticks every box of not just a cabaret but a pantomime, because a lot of the things we saw. Isn't. Oh yes, it is. I think a lot of things we saw were very linked to what we've seen in pantomimes and things, and it's very easy to not hit that mark, really, but I think they did it really well. I
laughed more times at this than I did when we watched Snow White.
Totally agree.
With Faye from Stepson.
Yeah, I totally agree, because this
not because of Faye from Stepson, but it had because of Joe Pasquale.
Yeah, exactly. but Joe Pasquale's done a lot of pantos, and for this to hit the mark more than a big panto, I thoroughly enjoyed it. In a way, more because there was more time spent, I feel, on the actual comedy aspect and the performance aspect than some of the big productions that rely on the sets and the staging that's already there for them. All they have to do is learn a few lines. They don't work on the chemistry between the performers, whereas this, you could tell it was a team effort. You could tell everybody was holding each other's hand in a good way, and you knew that everybody was going to make sure that we all had a laugh. Yeah, and they just weren't fazed by what they were performing in. They just got on with it, and I think it was great. Yeah,
so they did a bit of lip syncing, actual singing as well, because I know Robin Hood, Lottie Manning, she what was it? Mandolin?
Yes.
Was it a mandolin?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it was a musical instrument.
Oh no, ukulele.
Ukulele.
Yeah, it was ukulele.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
that's it. I don't know why I said mandolin. What the hell's a mandolin?
Isn't that the thing you cut things with, mandolin?
Yes, it is. And I knew it was like.
If she's strumming that, she'd have no fingers left.
No. What was it? Mandolin?
No. Ukulele.
Ukulele. That's the one. Because I keep thinking of ukulele as like a little turtle you blow into.
That's an ocarina.
Ocarina, that's it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, ocarina.
Well, I'm showing my musical knowledge now.
Oh, yeah.
Look at me. And the next question is...
Right then.
Name something you blow.
A. Pack it in. This ain't that kind
You have
of
to
a
take the
thing.
packet off.
God. Right, okay, so, anyway. Yes, the mandolin. No, she wasn't. Was it ocarino? No, what was she playing? The flute?
Ukulele.
No, ukulele. That's it, yeah. Yeah, that was... She made her own little song up there,
Yeah,
and
great.
she's got a really nice voice. It was really good to see that live playing
definitely.
of just any old song, even though I think it was meant to have been, like, crap lyrics and stuff like that, because they were saying, oh, this isn't very good at all. But, you could see behind there was a skill. There was actually like a really good singing voice and stuff.
Exactly. I mean, all four of them were brilliant in what they were doing.
Do you know what? We've actually gone straight into the here for the drama, haven't we? Really?
We've
Although
just
it's sort of like, oh God, yeah, there's going to be a merged one.
This
probably.
one is a merged
going to
one.
be a merged sort of a thing now. Thinking about it, I must admit, I think there was one person who did steal the show completely.
Really?
And that's simply because of the fully blown characterization of the Sheriff of Nottingham. I'm sorry, but that character was just so funny in every line, and I think it was down to that voice.
That voice helped.
In the second act when she was like on the floor, like saying 55 and 33 pence. Very like Mae West, but in a bit of a sort of a weird twang to it. But no, she was extremely funny, really, really funny.
Yeah, she was, and I think the to hold an accent like that's actually quite grating on your voice because it can't be easy to keep the accent going.
Exactly, yes.
Actually, it's just I mean. The thing is, you need the other characters to be like they were to make that character stand out even more because it creates that panto villain, that other that other person.
Well, it does. That's that role.
Yeah,
really.
That's the role, and it takes a lot of commitment to keep that accent and the moves up and things like that, but also to ad lib as well because there was a lot of times she was ad libbing with an audience.
Yes.
In the voice, and it wasn't just like left as like this is my script and this is what I've got to say. It was very much used all the time.
Yeah. And this is another production which had those cash guns that you'd fire.
Oh God,
but unfortunately, like a Miss Saigon.
Miss Saigon in the Crucible in Sheffield. They couldn't get them to work there, so I wouldn't worry about them not working in this one. But
the thing is, they did work. It's just that when she held them upside down,
everything falls out of them.
It fell out. So when she pressed fire, there was nothing coming out
left.
for about 2 or 3, and that's about it. No, those things are quite funny.
They are when they work.
Yeah. Oh, and also a little a gaff when Friar was eyeballing me to death.
Yeah.
And I was getting a bit hot under the collar,
and
I didn't know where to look.
No,
it's because I was all in checks with the cap and looking a bit butch.
Yeah, looked like a lumberjack.
She was looking away on her high heels.
Yeah,
and then as she turned around, I think she stumbled.
She did stumble.
She saved herself.
She saved herself very well.
I didn't see this because I was too busy looking away, thinking, "Oh my goodness!"
She saved herself very well, very quickly.
Yes, but that was quite fun.
Yeah,
not to see anyone like that trip or whatever, but when they just carry on.
Yeah, I do.
And I like the fact that when something goes wrong like that or something, the audience is like really behind them, the actors, because especially in an intimate setting like this, you want them to do well.
You do.
You still want to enjoy yourself, and the best thing about this is the fact that they never dropped their energy levels.
No,
they never
not at all.
got sapped
from the minute they walked on stage
to
leaving to bowing at the end. They were up there at all times, and it's very easy to let things catch you out, or anything, a little stumble or a little thing just make you not want to perform it at its best. But they didn't. They just kept on, and they just kept it up in the air, and it was brilliant. Moving on to our next segment, as we say,
what the tech is this?
Now the thing is, if we've talked about everything as a whole, is there anything technical you want to address? because there wasn't much set.
There wasn't much set. There wasn't a lot.
And I think we've talked about the whole situation with the characters and which one and how they acted. And
Yeah, I mean,
the scenes. So that covers quite a lot.
the
Writing of the writing of the actual plot was good because it delivered each time. You knew what was going on and it moved.
It was narrated while it was driven through.
Yeah.
Technically wise, I mean, it was lighted. I mean, there was a couple of moments when lights were shining in my eyes, or like right in my eyes at certain points, but that was just the technical ability of.
Were they shining in your eyes, or were they trying to attract the attention to me?
Well, I think they were. Well, maybe. I think it was more from a perspective of the technical abilities of the venue. You couldn't not to get some of the technical effects they pulled off. You couldn't have not had the light going into the audience, really. It became a little distracting when you've got a bright light in your face and you can't actually watch what's happening.
So you're saying it was just accidental that I sat in where I sat?
Yeah,
the light was shining towards me.
It was just you just like to be in the limelight. What can I say? But no, the sound effects were funny. As in there was a funny moment in the second half where they played with the sound effect guy. No, when they used the sound effects as part of Play 666.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Now
that's
the thing is,
at.
that little section there, that was the one sketch which I felt was a bit naff.
Yeah.
Because of the sound effects that they were putting on, like the farting and stuff like that. That was a bit.
But then that nodded to Panto to me. That was a bit.
Yeah,
like,
but I think it could have been done, or better sound effects could have been done a little bit. They should have raised the game, I think, on those little sound effects there. However, when it was like the 666 and Sheriff of Nottingham came out to do her bit, that was funny. But I think that was due to her doing her bit there.
Yeah, of course. I know what you mean.
But the whole farting and the things going on during that scene towards Maid, Marian and Robin Hood just didn't seem to work well. It was about...
It dipped a little, I think. And
that's the only section I would say that did dip a little.
Yeah. Well, other than that, I mean, it didn't really. But when we say dip, it didn't dip anywhere to the depths. It was still funny, but it just didn't. It didn't make you laugh out loud like you did with some of the other scenes, maybe.
Yeah, and on another technical aspect, which is not really technical, where would you put your interval? Because I felt the first act went on an extra couple of acts. Shall we say?
Yeah, I agree there.
Because it felt like the first act was heavy in terms of laughter. That's where all the jokes were. But then it in the second act, it dropped a little. Yeah. And I think having the interval sooner to keep the end to, or the last one, scene or sketch.
Yeah, it could have done with a little more balance in the way it was split up, maybe, because it did feel more heavier on the laughs in the first half than the second. But then I suppose you've got all your characters out of your way, so they could have done with maybe, I don't know, hiding something back for the second half, so you got another spin on somebody.
I suppose it depends what the plot was, because it was about driving Robin out to then go to either Sheffield or Derby. Which obviously they didn't want to do.
It's a hard decision.
But the second act was more about them going to the other place.
Yes,
it wasn't Major Oak, because that was this one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was.
They went somewhere else. Yeah. So whether that was in time with the interval, but because the plot was pretty much very loose, I don't suppose it mattered in this situation.
No, of course not.
Maybe I think a beefier joke or something. Could have, or an extra act or something a bit more funny in the second act. Yeah, no, I think I've made my point there.
You've made your point.
Mm-hmm. The costumes were great as well.
Yeah. And
the props use was really good.
Yeah, they were.
And that's that.
And I think moving on. Yeah, I think it was very much a small, limited amount of props, but everything was needed. There was nothing wasted on stage, nothing there for any reason, but it was enough You know, even when some things like the sign that was about where the pub was just made out of a bit of cardboard, or the journey sign to say you're going to Derby or Sheffield, it was all in cardboard, but it was just added to it.
It was hilarious the way
Yeah.
they did that, because Maid Marian was stood there with the arrows of Derby one section, Sheffield the other,
Yeah.
and then I can't remember if there was a comment of, oh, look who that is.
Yeah,
and
they
then
just lowered the sign.
No, she raised it above her head so we couldn't see her head at all. And just something as simple as that.
Yeah. Just slight movement, but made it really funny at that moment.
Yeah.
You know?
I love those.
And for me, that's where this production shone in a lot of ways. It plucked out some of the funny things,
all the
nuanced
little bits.
So many little tiny things that actually made it funnier, because and that means there's a lot of thought gone into it, and they're not just throwing away moments, and they waited for the laughter before they give you the next one. There was a lot of comedy timing where they just waited until they needed to then drive the next bit of fun home, or they didn't just rattle off a load of words. They did it in such
it just showed
measured
that
way.
They understood comedy.
Yeah.
All the four actors involved, and also perhaps even the director as well.
Yeah, because it wasn't just voiced comedy. It was like physical comedy as well. You know, little movements were enough to make people laugh. You know.
Absolutely.
And now it's time for Rewind Rewatch.
Rewind Rewatch, I think.
The whole lot for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, all of it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Do you want to dinner this time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pie and chips?
Yeah, maybe.
I'll definitely see this again.
Yeah. And I'll also be following the careers of the guys involved, because, you know,
well, you always do.
If ever I'm somewhere and I see that they're in something, it'll want me to book it with confidence, knowing that they're part of that production.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that says a lot.
It says a lot about you.
Yeah, I know. People
Stalker.
talk, you know.
Stalker.
Moving on to our final segment, as we say, call this a show?
Now, yes, summary, Richard. Let's summarise our experience or thoughts on Outlawed.
I think it was a classic camp cabaret that just made you happy when you left the room. You know, I think that it's very difficult that, you know, some people forget the basics of putting on productions like this. You want people to enjoy something and leave the room happy and have enjoyed something. It's not always about going too deep with things. Sometimes you know, you just have to make it a great performance.
I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was spectacular. I've not seen that many cabaret shows that are quite intimate like this. Like, I never go to the Edinburgh Fringe festivals and stuff like that. But this was one where, even though I went in with a bit of anxiety, I actually left having a really good time, and they just stripped away all that fear for a great show. And it's a shame it's had a short run, because I felt this was actually really well done, really well directed, well acted, extremely well written as well. And I just thoroughly enjoyed it. So thumbs up from me on this one. I definitely want to see it again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as somebody who does go to the Fringe, what I would say is some people need to maybe take lessons from this, because there are some things I've seen in Edinburgh that are questionable whether they actually understand that there's an audience sat in the room as well. So, you know, this has been done in such a way that I hope if they get back together, they actually go up to Edinburgh and take it there, because I'm sure this would do really well. So, you know, but yeah, definitely, yeah, a great performance.
So, Richard, scores then, please, for Outlawed. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being a handsome snatch to give to the poor, and 1 being a sorry old tale to bore the poor. What's it going to be?
It can only be a 10. I can't give it any more because I'm not allowed. 10.
No, you're not allowed.
No, I'm not outlawed.
You're outlawed. I'll outlaw you if you do that.
No, you will. No, it's definitely a 10.
And I'm going to give it I think I'm just going to give it a 9. A good 9, a strong 9.
Yeah.
Because I think just a couple of tweaks.
That's good.
With the whole
I get
balancing
that.
of the acts
I get that.
and whatever.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
9 plus. Yeah, so a really well done for this one. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
So, what sound effect will you be choosing from the following? A complete train wreck? Tumbleweed? An audible shrug of the shoulders? A slow clap? A pleasant applause? Or a standing ovation? What will it be?
Standing ovation. Gotta be.
Standing ovation from me as well. They were really good, really entertaining.
So there we are. That's our discussion of Outlawed. We hope you found it insightful.
If not entertaining,
Stay tuned as we bring you more of our thoughts
and opinions,
on many theatrical delights in future episodes.
hell yeah.
If you'd like to get in touch, email us at upstagedownsstagepod@gmail.com. You can always join in the chat to share with us your views of a production.
Also, make sure to follow, share, like and subscribe to all our channels so you get every episode the second it's released. And we hope you join us again for another instalment of Upstage Downstage.
Say something now.
Hello. This is me, your captain speaking. Sound. I've already done that one.
Sounding ovation.
A sound. It's a sound stand up from me. No, it's a
Say that last line.
No, it was one hit
Stealing
wonder.
from the rich to give to the poor.
Stealing from the rich to give to the poor has never been so much fun. Ooh, you're doing a. Oh, I see what you're doing.
When I'm good. But when I'm bad.
Ba ba da ba da ba da.
Ba-ba-da-ba.